Welcome everybody to another wonderful night, another wonderful week. BTL, we have Iron Chefs versus Maria's Dungeon. And of course, you have me, your boy, Little Rodney, aka the old sad boy, along with the MVP of BTL. Literally, TNT needs a whole staff, plus Mike Breen, Stan Van Gundy, and Mark Jackson, just to replace my man over here, Aulz, holding it down for production. But we're already in the picks and bans, and we have a Jana ban coming out for Iron Chefs and a Victor ban coming out for Maria's Dungeon.
Yeah, you gotta feel a little bit bad for Maria's Dungeon here because this was supposed to be a week 4 matchup here against the Iron Chefs. And Maria's Dungeon did play on Tuesday of this week. So, while they've been a little bit rusty, they also have a game real recently compared to the normal weekly schedule. So Maria's Dungeon might be feeling a little bit unbalanced here. The Iron Chefs on the rise recently could be a chance to continue that push to relevance, or this could be a slide back into the bottom of the pack.
I feel like it should be an advantage for Maria's Dungeon. You haven't, you've played more recently than the other team, and you've played on this patch more recently, so maybe you know a little bit more about what works. But we do have another Udyr ban, and it's supposed to be an MF. It did not go through for Iron Chefs, and we do have the Shin ban coming out for Maria's Dungeon. Shin being a highly contested pick this patch. I watch my skill capped. I know what's up. But yeah, it looks like pick
Oh,
ban may have
we have
frozen up.
had some pick ban issues, huh? Let's get that sorted then.
Yeah, it looks like they're gonna just restart the pick ban client, get a new client rolling. I think we had this actually happen Tuesday, and there it goes again. Now it's rolling. Of course, every time. The second you send a new link, it starts working. But Maria's Dungeon looks like they're going to keep working with what we have. Uh,
Alrighty.
and there's going to be a Nocturne ban. Very diverse set of bans coming out from both teams. Ooh. And Trendamere, first pick for Iron Chefs, immediately saying we want Battit on that split push carry. Let us 2v1 champion Trendamere.
Yeah, and we have called Battit's name a fair bit here
Ooh.
over the past couple of weeks for Iron Chefs. But for Maria's Dungeon, getting Expo on the carry champ is perhaps even more threatening. Expo
Yeah,
was what was keeping them alive against Spectre, so having Lucian Nami here is very scary.
yeah, and they were very big with the Lucian Nami last time. I am not surprised that it's an early priority. Very strong bot lane, regardless of the patch, it seems at this point. But we do get a Lilia pick and a Blitzcrank pick. Lilia, a little bit of a flex, can go solo lane, can go jungle, but I imagine it's going to be a jungle for Calabina.
Yeah, I would tend to think so as well. Also, personally, I love Blitzcrank. I was a support main for a very, very long time. Support is still my secondary role. Blitzcrank has to be up there, top 2, top 3 favorite champions, just because he's so fun, just because you can make so much happen with a single ability, and into something like Anami that's super squishy, doesn't have any real escapes. That could turn the tide of these fights just like that.
Yes, absolutely. Blitzcrank is every enchanter's worst nightmare. For oops, you mispositioned and you're dead. But we do get a Pantheon pick coming through that can be a solo lane Pantheon. I think Pantheon one of the better picks into Tryndamere. At least early game can present a lot of pressure. Can also go solo lane or mid lane, excuse me. Pantheon can go jungle. So a little bit of trickeration available for both teams as we go into the second set of bans.
Yeah, speaking of the mid lane Pantheon, that is going to raise a question mark here for Iron Chefs. JS Method may be one of the highest ranked players in BTL, but as we've seen, he only really seems super, super comfortable on the Victor. With the Victor out of the picture here, what does JS Method play that he can reclaim some of that comfort on?
Yeah, I mean, we did see him on. I think we saw him on Tryndamere actually the other game that he was not on Victor recently. So
Oh,
I
right,
am very
against Shenandoah. That was a strange game all around, to be fair.
Yeah, so I am very curious though as to what the pick is going to be for the mid lane, or if the Pantheon is the pick, just because we haven't really seen JS Method on anything else. But we do get an Aatrox and an Oran band coming out from Iron Chefs, not believing that Pantheon is a top laner, thinking that is going to JS Method. Whereas Maria's Dungeon with two ADC bands, or possibly, I assume an ADC band with Ashe and Caitlyn, won't be an Ashe support. We have a Blitzcrank. And there's a Nasus. Oh, I like that. You scale? Okay, I scale. We'll see who scales better. I have the scales of life and death.
And not only does Nasus scale, Nasus has the no fun button. You hit that W, and suddenly all of those crits that Tryndamere could be getting, doesn't matter. He
Yeah.
can't attack.
I heard you like moving. You won't be doing any of it today. But we are going to keep moving. We do have the Scion coming out here. Could be a Tryndamere mid with a Scion top. Again, Iron Chef's a little bit of trickery going on. Gonna make it interesting to see who's going what position when we get into the client proper. And going for their last pick is going to be the ADC Varus. So we're gonna see a Varus Blitzcrank very good at that one person right there is over here now. Those people over there can't move, and hopefully somebody dies before they can move again.
Yeah, you did call it, I think. You said that the Tryndamere had been taken by JS Method in the mid lane before, and that's exactly what we're getting here with likely the Tryndamere heading to the top lane, or to the mid lane rather.
Oh, and
Then
we are gonna see the
Karthus
Karthus.
is going to
We
be the
did
final pick here. That's a
we did see Wookiee on the Karthus 2 nights ago. Am I mistaken or am I correct?
no, that's I believe it was Wookiee. Let me check the match history here, because I do believe, unless the Karthus was coming out of the Spectre squad, it was in fact out of Spectre by Kush.
My mistake, but I was in the right match. I was in the right match.
Yeah, small victories here.
So we do have the possibility for a little switcheroo, but I believe, like we called, it's going to be the Tryndamere 4JS method. The insta-lock first pick, which I think happened last time when the Victor was banned. And then we just get to see, I assume it's Scion going top, but it could be Lilia top with a Scion jungle. Scion has maybe not the best clear, but does have a very good ability to be in one lane and then be in another lane with some CC to back him up. Same for Pantheon. Actually, we could see two junglers who are basically able to be in two lanes within 20 seconds, if it is that Pantheon jungle instead of a Karthus jungle.
Yeah, there's a lot of options on the board for both teams here for where they do finally assign these champions. It's going to be interesting to see what finally gets locked in. Looks like for now, what they're showing is the Karthus Lilia jungle, but of course, under the rules of this league, they can still swap that up to 30 seconds before load in.
Yeah, and I think that would actually be pretty hilarious if they both swapped and it turned into Tryndamere versus Karthus, Lilia versus Nasus. I mean, technically, you can Nasus jungle. If you do your first clear right, you wind up with about 60 stacks, if I remember correctly. So it's not the worst. It's not the best, but not the worst. And also has very, very efficient ganks because you just walk in and say, "Excuse me, I noticed that you were moving unimpeded. I would like you to stop."
Yeah, the
But
Wither is a powerful, powerful tool.
yeah, theory crafting aside, I do believe that this is the matchup we're going to get with Nasus, Karthus, Pantheon, and then Scion, Lilia, Tryndamere, with the bot lanes not being as flexible, I guess we could get Nami Karthus. That I just want to throw that out there.
You think we're
Wouldn't be
gonna
the
see a
craziest
Lucian
thing I've ever
jungle?
seen.
You think we're gonna see a Lucian jungle here?
No, you'd see a Lucian mid. It'd be Lucian's mid Pantheon jungle.
Okay, okay, okay. Uh, you know, we've talked a lot about the top half of the map here, but I wanna pick your brain. What do you think about this bot lane?
I think Expo and CO Lady will do incredibly well. We did see attempts on Thursday night to basically pick them off while they were squishier early, and it did not work. Expo still became an all-around monster. That said, I do think Varus has obviously a much better team fight with the ultimate, and Blitzcrank, of course, can turn anything into a pick. And when you have three champions that can basically get deleted before they can press any buttons, that is always going to be a factor. But I think having seen what we saw in Seal Ladies, Nami was also absolutely amazing the other night. I think the Nami Nushin,
Nushin?
Lami, Lami,
The llama?
Nushin, Lami.
Are
Yeah,
we
hey,
getting an
hey,
alpaca on the field?
maybe, but I think that will do very well versus this here bot lane of Iron Chefs. So I think if Iron Chefs wants to be able to kind of tip it in their favor, they will need the Lilia to take some action. Lily, of course, a more active early game jungler, even if not that active. Karthus is almost always looking to power farm, so maybe. Um, which I actually want to ask you about this here jungle matchup. I think both of them kind of power farmers.
Yeah, we should be seeing a good bit of power farming from both of them. I do think that the Lilia will have a slightly better chance of ganking early. I do think the Swirl Seed is a much better early engage tool than the Wall of Pain. But for both of these junglers, I don't think we're going to be seeing much. And I think they picked lanes to match that. Both of these top laners really just want to scale. Both of the mid laners are going to kind of be just fighting it out on their own here. And the bot lane's pretty self-sufficient. Support can create engages on his own. And Nami, for its Soul Lady, should be able to keep Expo in good shape as long as Expo is able to relentless pursuit his way away from the rocket grab.
I tend to agree. And just a reminder, if you have our opinion or other opinions, feel free to vote in this here Twitch chat. Get your points up. We already see a lot of points being dumped in. I imagine, like last time where we had one person voting all of their points for one team, because that seems very improbable that it was that lopsided. But get your votes in, get you some channel points, and we're going to take a quick break and be back with game one, Iron Chefs versus Maria's Dungeon. Don't go anywhere.
One.
All right, and here we go. We are loading in, ready to rock. We have Iron Chefs and Maria's Dungeon. Maria's Dungeon, though, does not have a match win yet, so hopefully they're going to be able to pull that out. But we see both teams stacking up as 5. An invade is almost always going to be coming when you have a Blitzcrank. But, ooh, buddy, they are going to walk
Calabina
right
is
into each
leading
other.
it. Not having the Blitzcrank lead might be a mistake here, and Lucian getting
Ooh.
the first blood.
Yeah, that is Lucian getting the first blood. It is Calabina going down. The hook did go off, but they didn't even force out a flash. That feels really, really bad. Yeah, I agree with you. It should have been the Blitzcrank leading for sure. Am I like a little second behind you?
You may be.
Hang on.
Yeah.
All right, that should catch it up.
I am
We should be fine.
Okay.
I'm at 107.
Okay, you are ahead of me.
Okay, let me slow it
7,
down.
8, 9, 10, 11. You should be good by now.
Yep, 14, 15.
Yep, cool.
Okay. All right, so we are back on the rift, and now the Lucian comes back with the double longsword ready to go. Also, 3 health potions, going to be even harder to kill and a lot harder to fight. Especially, there's also a whole lot of extra gold on the map that hasn't necessarily been cashed in yet on the side of Maria's Dungeon, but we do see immediately Wookie Monster getting onto JS Method, getting him a low. Does have to press the attack, does kind of win the fight at the first 4 or 5 autos, but then once that lethal tempo builds up, is not going to be as strong. But yeah, you see him jump in, get some damage, but that's a lot of crits from JS Method. He has the full rage bar. You don't want to get hit with that. And his Batted, forcing out Frenzy, making him walk away from the wave. I'm not sure if he made him miss any CS, but there he goes. Wookie Monster jumping in. JS Method, though, did just hit level 2 and is going to flash and ghost and kill. Pantheon did use both the summoners and got nothing in return. That feels bad. Ooh, support hooked a minion. Think he thought he had Lucian and did not. Is going for the knock up there on the Nami, but you're out of position now, and that's going to be the exhaust onto Lucian, but the support is not having a fun time. Trying to hook anyone and misses both of them, and now has about 18 seconds until he's useful at all. Fishing Frenzy just trying to farm up under this tower here with the Nasus, with the stacks. Doing okay, though. Support not doing okay. Has to flash away. Lucian immediately applying that pressure, knowing he's low, knowing he's basically a passive combo away from dying. Fishing Frenzy prioritizing the farm instead of the poke, and of course Lucian jumps in, gets hooked, gets knocked up. It's gonna still get the kill, gonna get the double kill, gonna go down, but I think you call worth there. You get the double kill, you force the wave in, and the kill goes over to the support. And then right on the other side of the map, we see In Defiance coming into Batted. Batted does not have a way to run away. Fishing Frenzy gets the kill, but does not get that precious plus 12. But I think you take it in that instance, at least as far as getting ahead, is going to run away from Batted. The zombified Scion not going to do a lot of damage. Just going to be able to push it into the wave. But now there's a little bit of priority going on the top side for Maria's Dungeon. A very good early game start.
Yeah, nice job of starting to push the tempo here, especially in the bot lane. Expo already at 3-1, at 3.5 minutes has the Noon Quiver as an ADC. Ooh. That is such a feeling of power. Yeah, now he just has to continue to push that lead, though.
That is true. And we see him walking into the river, basically able to escort his jungler to free camps. Fishing Frenzy getting hit very hard. Batted not really that afraid. Gonna take a little bit of damage on the return with the Q, get some of that passive healing for Fishing Frenzy. Looks like he's gonna back and have to TP. Batted, of course, with the Scion left and came back, but Calabina getting face checked by In Defiance, but Wookie Monster is there. Wookie Monster over the wall, gets the stun, gets the shield and the hits, but does not get the spear. Calabina, at least for the moment, is gonna survive, but that's again another wave being pushed in and more lost XP and gold on the spot side for Iron Chefs.
Yeah, again, a very good job continuing to push this tempo, continuing to get small wins. And In Defiance on the Karthus, you don't think early game Karthus is scary, but right there, able, with the help of Wookie Monster, to push Calabina out of the Lilia's own jungle to steal some extra camps, and now is 3 camps up, really pushing the tempo here, and going to be able to continue to get scarier and scarier, especially once he hits level 6 and is able to start popping those ultimates back to back to back.
Yes, but I do want to say one caveat. They are basically sacking mid lane. We have seen Wookiee Monster roam, Wookiee Monster walk away, Wookiee Monster basically take a fight and walk away and die because they have basically decided we're just going to let JS Method farm for like 3 straight waves. So JS Method is going to be significantly ahead as a level lead, couple of wave leads, and is back already with the boots. Wookiee Monster only having still that Doran's Blade, so does not want those fights. And you see JS Method immediately on him, pushing the wave, taking damage, not worried, not going to run out of mana either.
Yeah, those manaless champs makes it so hard to play into because you have to manage your resources so carefully. And Wookiee Monster might be in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, JS Method hits 6, has a lot of attack speed there. We see it just now wearing off that beautiful lethal tempo. I think he might be looking for a dive. He sees that Wookiee Monster is pretty low on health, but there is some help coming over from Indefiance. Indefiance gets hooked. There's a swirl seed as well. They are going for it. Wookiee Monster gets Wookiee Monster does not get 1 kill. That's going to be JS Method getting the kill, walking away, flash, and Ghost. Fishing Frenzy, though, trying to catch up to Badit, does not have enough slows to catch up, but Badit is low, is walking away. Nasus did have to use the ultimate, but that's going to be something you are more than happy to take now because you get a nice free wave to farm as that Nasus.
Yeah, and looking at that wave, he's got the potential to turn this into a freeze. Doesn't look like he will do so, but if Fishing Frenzy had managed that wave just a little bit more, could have made it pretty hard for Badit to walk up and farm. Unfortunately, Fishing Frenzy is low on mana, so the freeze would have been a little bit unfortunate. Here comes
Calabina and support in the river, having some adventures, getting away safely. The speed up there from Blitzcrank, able to get him away. Overdrive, slowing him down, but once he's slowed down, he is well into the jungle and safe. That said, is a level behind already for Seoul Lady. Seoul Lady, of course, we saw the other night, fantastic on the Nami, absolutely bubblicious, one would say. But is, again, they're just pushing pressure up 11 CS, plus, of course, the kills. Still hasn't backed since the Noon Quiver, probably has a solid chunk of gold as well.
Yeah, currently sitting on 2,000. That's maybe a little bit more than he should have in his pocket at any one time. Got to take those backs when you can. However, it doesn't look like he's going to get punished for it. Yeah, Indefiance already has the Drake under a third health. Doesn't look like Calabina is going to be able to get in there at all. Wookiee Monster doing a great job of zoning.
Yep, and there you go. There are the backs. They were just sticking around until their jungler could get the dragon. What good teammates. We do see a mid lane plate going the way of JS Method. Ultimate almost back up, already up 33, 30. We'll call it an even 30 once the wave is gone. Yep. 20 CS, excuse me. I'm bad at math. I went to public schools. But we see JS Method stealing the red buff. Just literally doing what he wants between the mid lane. Not a single fear at all. Knows that he is probably the strongest member of his team, and the only person he has to worry about right now is Expo. Expo did come back with a full Gale Force already, but we see the Noon Quiver on JS Method already looking to just bully Wookiee Monster under this tower and take whatever he can. Does see that Indefiance has already taken those chickens, though.
Yeah, and this is unfortunate for Indefiance. Has done a good job of making Calabina suffer through the early game, but the cost of that, as you mentioned earlier, was Wookiee Monster getting behind. And since this Maria's Dungeon team didn't do anything to bring JS Method back under control, it means that that advantage that they had in the jungle is going to get clawed back a little bit here. And with JS Method freed to roam around the map, to put pressure even down towards the bot lane here, it's going to make it harder for Maria's to keep pushing this tempo.
Yeah, but we do see Indefiance in the top lane having no camps, looking to get a quick gank off, see what is available. But like you said, there was JS Method, again, just kind of walking mid-river to mid-river, saying anybody I see is in for a bad time. There is a nice stun under the tower from Wookiee Monster, trying to get anything on JS Method. And JS Method just takes the plate, spins away. heals, and laughs. That not reassuring, and immediately going into the jungle, looking to start stealing camps, looking to use that pressure and forcing the bot lane of Maria's Dungeon away from their wave just to protect the camp and to make sure they're not going to get ganked from behind.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think Maria's would have been perfectly fine with letting go of the camp there. The problem is that at level 8, with the Noon Quiver and the Zerks, JS Method is more than happy to dive that turret if Nami and Lucian are not in a good place to defend it. And if they're pushed all the way up to Cool Crab's turret, then that just means there's more room for JS Method to run down this Maria's bot lane, take that 150 gold shutdown that's sitting on the Lucian, and accelerate further.
Absolutely. And we did see also they were able to use some of that information from JS Method getting into the jungle to know exactly where In Defiance was. You saw Calabino backing out in the right time, but we do have Expo stuck under the tower. Psych! Expo gets the double kill again. It goes down. But again, the shutdown gold only goes to support. They are feeding the crap out of this Blitzcrank. Let me tell you what. But that is a 5-2-0. Lucian and Wookiee Monster goes down. JS Method, no fear. Has nothing to worry about. Literally flashes in, kills him, ghosts out, didn't even press R. Didn't even have to ult. That's not good.
No. Again, as you mentioned, JS Method starting to become problematic.
No.
And
Finds
we'll
In
find
Defiance. Yeah, is going to give him a Dark Harvest stack, but there's the Lilia as well, just kind of walking away. Again, still hasn't even had the ult. Walked in, hit him a bunch of times, pressed Q, walked away, took a half a camp. This is that same lead that they built up is now just JS Method's lead, but we do see Expo at least gonna force out the ultimate there. That Undying Rage keeping JS Method undying as he's able to get away. So that at least relieves a little bit of pressure in the mid lane. But again, you see Wookiee Monster starting to roam around, and Fishing Frenzy is gonna have to fight Calabina and Bat. It is running out of mana, but that Wither is gonna run out of move speed. And oh, there's support. Right place, right time. We do have the ultimate coming out from In Defiance. In Defiance not gonna get the kill though. Fishing Frenzy gonna go down and support. Come on, scumbag support, like my good friend Boris would say.
Yeah, you know, as a support, you love taking the kills because you want to get the gold to make your items. And I know, Aegis of the Legion is such a nice item to have, keeping your carries alive, but when your carries don't have enough gold to actually do damage, you're putting them in a hole. That being said, JS Method is the carry right now. He was not in that fight, so support can feel perfectly happy with taking whatever he can get. Speaking of taking what you can get, Wookiee Monster can't win anything in the mid lane, so we'll try and find something in the bot. Cool Crab will toss out those Chains of Corruption, though. Keep himself safe.
Swirl Seed barely missed. Expo does get hooked even after the Relentless Assault. It's looking like he's going to go down. It's going to be an arrow coming out from Cool Crab's going to get the kill. Wookiee Monster now looking to run away, but I don't know if he has it. He's going to try and get away. No, there's JS Method as well. Gets the kill with a nice timely crit. Does have the Gale Force now, which also added to that damage, and just like that, that is a shutdown. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's not a shutdown for him. That is a shutdown going to Cool Crab, which is going to help make up a lot of that issue that he had with Fishing Frenzy, taking so many tower shots, and is now looking to use the Sands of Time and the Ghost, trying to stay alive, use the Wither to get away. That is going to be the flash out of Badit. Badit's trying to slow him as well, and that's going to be the kill. Badit gets the solo kill in the top lane and is able to turn that fight. A very nice ultimate under the tower to knock up Fishing Frenzy, and all the plates for JS Method in the meantime.
Yeah, is going to miss out on that final plate, but at this point, up 3,100 gold, nearly double what Wookiee Monster has on hand. JS Method is happy. JS Method does not care. JS Method is in control of this game, and as long as he can keep getting on Expo in these fights, it really won't matter. Iron Chefs feels comfortable, feels confident, and looks to keep moving forward here.
Yeah, and they do get the first tower as well. Badit does have that. Demolish was able to get, I think, a plate or two as well in that top lane before getting that final turret hit. but is going to at least donate a Dark Harvest stack. May go down. They're trying to give it to Fishing Frenzy. There you go. Gets the plus 12. You love to see it. Is down a level, but should be able to get away. Going to walk away the Wall of Pain. They're trying to peel off Battit, who is still a problem in zombie form. Actually, probably more of a problem if you've watched that one guy from Europe. I hate him. He's made solo queue the worst, but that is very much one of the strengths of Scion at this point. And yeah, the Rift Herald also. Rift Herald was taken by Maria's Dungeon, but we're not able to put it down in time to get some plates. Oh no. Expo able to walk sideways, avoid the hook from support, but they do lose a pink ward. Hate to give up that 30 gold.
Yeah, I mean, it's 30 gold. It's 30 gold, Rodney. When you are up 2,300, when you have a mid laner that is completely in control of the game, you don't care about 30 gold.
Okay, Expo does dodge out the Chains of Corruption and dodges out the Swirl, so he hops back forward. Gale Force in, flash out, very nice bubble there, and it's going to be the ultimate coming out from Defiance, able to knock down. Oh, very nice ult from Battit. Battit getting the kill back. Both ADCs dead. 1 kill for the jungler on Maria's Dungeon, 1 kill for the top laner, but now it's JS Method hunting down in Defiance, and I don't think there's a lot you can do. Does flash over the wall. JS Method flashes right back with him, and on the other side we do some support. Hooking Fishing Frenzy, trying to get the kill, but it's not going to happen. Calamina is able to finish the kill, and JS Method hops over. Doesn't have to ult even. Again, literally gets his kill, spins around, hops over, and is fine. Did wind up having to use Ghost, but still has that undying rage and is now 6-0-0 with a 700 shutdown. How are you even going to get that there?
Yeah, at this point, JS Method is untouchable. Has the Gale Force, is well on his way to his second item. Hasn't used the Undying Rage in a ton of these fights, so he's able to play so aggressively here, completely fearless, because he knows that there's nobody on Maria's Dungeon as soon as Expo falls. Nobody else on this map can threaten him. And Expo, taking the Unstoppable Onslaught to the face, that's a lot of his health bar right now. Only has the Gale Force, doesn't have anything in the way of defensive stats. Its Soul Lady doesn't have her completed items yet, so there's not a lot of healing coming out from the Nami. So Expo's just in trouble.
There's some Merc Treads there. He was knocked up for slightly less time, though I don't know if he had it in that fight. But, and I'm going to say this because I just like to make myself seem like I was right. If they had fought for that ward, they would have seen Babbitt come in through that fog of war. And so it wouldn't have been surprise. Bleep.
You know, Rod, that's all well and good, except for the fact that there is a map-wide sound cue on the Scion Ultimate. Nothing about Scion is surprising.
You don't know which direction he's coming from, though.
Well, he sure ain't coming from your own Nexus.
Ooh. The Swirl Seed does hit Expo, and Expo is going to be asleep. Expo is going to get hooked, and that's going to be Expo still living somehow, but it's finally going to go down. Oh, no. It's even worse. You should have died when you had the chance. You gave more gold to JS Method, who is now godlike, and they are looking to go onto this here dragon that is going to be spawning. In the meantime, Battit, he got the full wind-up. No fear at all, and is now hitting Fishing Frenzy. Fishing Frenzy trying to fight back. We do see Defiance coming with some assistance. And there you go, the Unstoppable Onslaught. Unstoppable. You can't stop it.
That would be what the name would imply. With 7 seconds to the Drake here, and with Defiance showing in the top side, though, there's nothing that this Maria's Dungeon team can do to contest this Drake. Thankfully for them, it's only the second Drake of the game for Iron Chefs, but still, it's more pressure that they could have had if JS Method wasn't JS Method, right?
Pretty much. But yeah, JS Method also hitting the dragon just to make sure that there's maximum damage. Going to go bot lane. Probably going to take that tower. I don't see anybody getting there in time unless Wookiee Monster wants to ult. Speaking of, have we seen Wookiee Monster ult at all this game?
I do not believe we have seen a Grand Skyfall this game, or if we have, it has been completely inconsequential. Fishing Frenzy is going to get the kill onto Battit here, gets the plus 12 with it as well. Currently sitting at 399, so a respectable amount for this point in the game.
Yeah.
But is that going to be enough for JS Method?
If you're Fishing Frenzy, you're just telling your teammates, hey, if you can just hold for 20 more minutes, I got you. But I agree. I don't know that JS Method is gonna give that much time away. In Defiance also does scale very well on that Karthus. Karthus, of course, also able to press R more frequently at some point. We do see the quick blades coming in as well now for JS Method, though. So those crits gonna mean more spins, gonna mean more heals, gonna mean more crits, gonna mean more spins. You might get dizzy, but I think somebody else is going to fall down. And again, they're taking that ward out. They know where the pink ward is. They know where the free gold is, and that is going to be them starting to set up for Dragon for Baron on the side of Iron Chefs now. And I don't know how you can test this here if they decide to start it. If you are, oh no, Wookiee Monster is going to get the stun off, but I don't think it matters. You're still slowed, and you're just getting hit. Just getting hit. Does flash over, but again, he has spins. Spin plus Gale Force equals you dead. That's that new math.
Yeah, Wookiee
Common
Monster, desperate for anything here. About to be Flame Horizoned, currently down 8 kills.
Oh no.
It's going to be 9 kills as In Defiance gets caught. Expo in trouble as well. The Undying Rage comes out, but it might not be in time. Here comes the ultimate.
Ooh, that is a nice shutdown. You love to see it. 700 gold on the Karthus.
Okay,
and
so
Expo lived.
That does help the Karthus get back into the game. However, look at the timer. Look at the timer on JS Method's ultimate. That's going to be back.
Well, they just have to stall for another minute and 15 seconds. Oh no, but we do see Fishing Frenzy and Badit getting into a nice chunky man fight. We love a heavyweight bout, and Fishing Frenzy is actually starting to win these now. Badit having to try and walk away, getting withered again. Fishing Frenzy not worried at all. And there you go. There's the Grand Skyfall we were hoping for. There's the Unstoppable Onslaught. But you are not going the right direction there, buddy. Giving Expo a free kill. Everybody getting out of the way. What nice teammates. That's how you support them. You get out the way so you don't accidentally steal the kill. But it's going to be Expo getting the kill, continuing to get bigger. Does now have the Collector, most likely going for the IE now. And there's no pressure on that other side of the map, allowing for some free time for farming for Fishing Frenzy, who is again only going to get stronger. But there's a Baron being started. JS Method and Calabina starting it solo. JS Method probably could solo it at this point, but they are trying to burn it down fast. In Defiance will spot them out. What's the play? Oh no, they're gonna let it go. Oh, there's the teleport. There's a flash. There's a steal. And Defiance is able to steal the Baron. And now, oh no, the teleport that came in for Fishing Frenzy may not turn out to be the best teleport, but everybody's gonna get away. It looks like they are not gonna chase them out the choke, and it's going to be 5 members with Baron for Maria's Dungeon. What a steal.
Yeah, a great steal by In Defiance there, and a bit of an interesting, I'd say incorrect play call from the side of Iron Chefs. If they had gone ahead and re-engaged onto In Defiance and Fishing Frenzy immediately after that TP, that fight would have probably gone the way of Iron Chefs. They would have probably gotten 2, 3, 4 kills here, made this Baron irrelevant. Instead, they played defensively. They backed off despite the fact that JS Method had a full rage bar. Support was there. Cool Crab was in the area as well. So they had the damage numbers there. A baffling call not to go for it, and we're going to have to see if Maria's Dungeon is able to make that pay off.
Yeah, and now we're going to see the matchup, and this is the matchup I was waiting on, honestly. I want to see Fishing Frenzy versus JS Method at one point. I think it's going to eventually get to the point where he's the only person who may be able to lane in the same area as Tryndamere, just because of the Nasus stacks and the Wither to help you get away. But we see JS Method is going to be down here for this Dragon before Fishing Frenzy. Fishing Frenzy, of course, having already used the teleport. But yeah, I do agree. Oh my God, support. You got to be, pinging yourself there. What happened? But there you go. We see the Wither and the Wall of Pain on JS Method. JS Method forced to spin away, and there's at least going to be vision denial, at least for a second it was, but now they are backing away. Maria's Dungeon not wanting to get caught out here, not wanting to get stuck somewhere where we can see a whole lot of JS Method crits 3 times and everybody's dead. Blitzcrank getting the hook onto Wookie Monster. Wookie Monster, maybe not the ideal target. We do see in the backline Fishing Frenzy getting JS Method incredibly low. JS Method still going to live for at least a little while, a lot of while, and that is going to be In Defiance now being able to take down the Blitzcrank and is going to get the ult off, going to get a couple more, does get the kill onto JS Method and onto Calabina. That is a triple kill, and on top of which he is still alive, so it's going to be a dragon as well for Maria's Dungeon. Played that fight so incredibly well. The Unstoppable Onslaught on the backside Bandit was trying to get a flank and was not able to hit anybody, and in the meantime the damage just hit the important players on Iron Chefs.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta give credit where credit is due. In Defiance stood in the middle of the enemy team, had the Leandries, had the stopwatch, had the fully stacked Dark Seal. That's a lot of damage coming out of just the E there from the Karthus.
I don't think it was fully stacked at the start of the fight. That is but everything else 100% correct. I don't think it was fully stacked because he had went down previously. Remember?
Perhaps we'd have to go back
and check
JS there. Method? Yeah.
Or did he? Now I'm not sure.
We'll have to check that later. The other thing that was massive there, support hooking the most useless member of Maria's Dungeon. Okay.
He hooked Wookie Monster. Wookie Monster stunned him, and then they just looked at each other like, okay, what now, buddy?
Yeah, and with the Aegis, with the E, Wookie Monster was able to eat so much damage there, bought the time for his team to reorient, but Fishing Frenzy
on the JS Method. He is going to go down, but he takes so much damage, and there you go, another Grand Skyfall from Wookie Monster, able to keep Expo alive. So on the other side of the map, top laners will die, but there is free farm going on down there for JS Method. JS Method probably going to be able to take this tower. I don't see an answer coming out before he gets on the tower, and he at this point is going to chew through that.
Yeah, let's take a look here at that turret. How quickly it falls. Just a few auto attacks, and that is a big chunk of gold in the pocket of that Tryndamere. Currently sitting at 11 and 2, 3.5 completed items. The moment he hits that B button, it will be 4. That's terrifying.
Yes, it very much is, but as was previously stated, the Hourglass now back up for In Defiance again in a position where should he find himself out of position, like, oh, a very nice flash from Expo, getting away from the Chains of Corruption and able to dodge out the Rocket Fist from support, managing to stay safe. Expo still a large part of the damage that's available for Maria's Dungeon, and should you hook In Defiance, as long as he can press 2 buttons before he dies, we'll still be able to get down a solid chunk of damage while the rest of the team is available. There's also a stopwatch available for Wookie Monster. We do see the IE coming out from Expo. On the other side, we haven't talked much about Cool Crab's itemization, but does now have the Rage Blade to go along with the Immortal Shield Bow. Is about half an item behind on Expo, but considering how the game started, that's a win in and of itself, really.
Yeah, Cool Crab has done a good job of stabilizing this game. Is only down 10 CS, which is a whole lot better than the mid lane of Maria's Dungeon. Down 115. Just gotta be absolutely miserable for Wookie Monster. I mean, you can see he's only completed an item. His opposing number here in JS Method has 4. Currently sitting on a 7,000 gold lead. Good
Lord, and
Rodney.
Has the Shirildas now, so is going to be able to slow people with the spin. Do you know how frustrating that's going to be for anybody not named Fishing Frenzy to get hit with a spin, get slowed, hit with a spin, get slowed, and die?
See, that's all well and good.
You may not even live to the second spin, to be fair.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, is it really doesn't matter when you're dead from 2 autos. This is a Gale Force, Novoris, Phantom Dancer, Sorilda's Tryndamere. He hurts,
and is pushing down the top. Yeah.
Especially on the pollution.
Lane. Oh my god. Push down the top lane in the face of two members of Maria's Dungeon. Absolutely not afraid. And now they're going back to the Baron. This time we have JS Method running interference. In Defiance may still jump. Oh, tries to jump over. Does not get it this time. Is in the middle. Is going to go down. But there's a very nice tidal wave. And there's another Grand Skyfall that's going to be useful. The tidal wave knocked up 4 people, by the way. And JS Method is going to. Oh no, he's going to go down as well. The only living member of
Iron Chefs.
Iron Chefs, excuse me, is going to be Calabina with the Baron. So yeah, you didn't flip it for the steal, but I still don't think maybe Baron is your friend.
Yeah, this Baron power play is dead in the water. At best, you took it away from Maria's, and now you're going to lose
Oh,
an inhibitor
ooh,
for
no,
it.
Calabina's gonna go down eventually. Wookie Monster, very nice stopwatch as well, able to stay alive. So yeah, now nobody has Baron. Way to go. And that's going to be a tower. I don't know that they're going to stick around. Oh, they are going to stick around for the inhibitor. No, they are going to run away now. They do see that the death timer on JS Method, I imagine, is low with Cool Crab and support already up. They're going to start pathing around to this dragon, knowing that the jungler is down for Iron Chefs. And this is 1,000 gold lead at 30 minutes. We joked earlier that Fishing Frenzy told his teammates hang out for 20 minutes, and I got you. They may actually do that, but they may not even need to because they are in the driver's seat, it looks like.
Yeah, Indefiance has hit his breakpoints. Now at 4 items himself. Even though he died instantly in that fight, the Requiem took everyone's health bar low enough that even Wookie Monster could take a kill. And that's
Yeah,
impressive with a Wookiee monster who only has an Eclipse. It's a sad day for this Pantheon.
it really is. It really is. But, you know, when you're in a group project and they just have you on glue duty and you glue the crap out of that poster board and you get an A, you know what the grade book says?
Says you got an A here, Rud.
That's all. That's all that matters. Do your job. They
Now the
and,
problem is, they gotta keep doing their job, and they have a now very angry Tryndamere who does not want to make the same mistake twice.
that is very true. But we are seeing fourth items, fifth items coming through, almost a sixth item, and then sixth item basically for Tryndamere does have the Hex Drinker. Going to be even harder to get in Defiance to kill with the Requiem, even if it's in Death Defied. Is he in Defiance of Death? Is that why he picked Karthus? I like that. I like that. He's playing a deep game, 4D chess. But yeah, Tryndamere's going to stay alive even longer. And we do see now Fishing Frenzy matching up with JS Method is probably the best option there to stand in their support. Missing the hook one more time. Baddick going into tower range and is not going to leave it. Is going to go down. Is trying to get some damage out. We do see the Chains of Corruption miss as well. And just like that, we see Fishing Frenzy on JS Method. JS Method no longer wins that fight. That is a nice hook onto In Defiance, but it doesn't matter. There's so much damage coming down. And there's the Grand Skyfall now. They're able to get on the Cool Crab. Cool Crab does not have any more peel available. Is going to go down. Eventually, it's going to be a double kill for Expo. And just like that, the only members of Iron Chefs of Live are JS Method and Calabina. Calabina does not have the ultimate. So while hitting the swirl suit and getting a lot of burn actually onto everyone, Wookie Monster, especially taking low, is not going to be able to put them to sleep and is going to lose this mid lane inhibitor. I wonder if they keep pushing here with a 5v2. Oh my God. Expo said, hey, buddy, I do damage.
Yeah, the Undying Rage is available, but JS Method not wanting to use it quite yet, maybe just saving it for the next game. The Requiem coming out, but with the Nexus going down, under half health, a couple more auto attacks will do it.
One auto, yep.
And there
it is.
It goes. Maria's Dungeon taking game number 1.
Absolutely incredible for Maria's Dungeon. I believe when they talk about a mid-game trough, Maria's Dungeon was deep in the mid-game trough and said, it's okay, we scale. And then they scaled. I wish that happened in real life more often. Absolutely incredible game. Honestly, the turning point was probably in Defiance's Baron Seal.
Yeah, flashing over, getting that steal, and nobody dying for it gave this Maria's team a whole lot of confidence to continue moving forward, and they were able to turn it. They let the Nasus get ahead. They let the Karthus get to the points he needed to get to. And for Iron Chefs, that is a huge missed opportunity to come out ahead here, to take the first game, and to make your mark on the series. JS Method has to be kicking himself in comms right now, saying, that game should have been mine.
I absolutely agree. I have lots of questions mainly related to the decision making they made around JS Method. But the one I would like you to answer, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, why didn't they just post up JS Method somewhere where he absolutely, positively had to bring 3 people to him and just let the rest of the team do whatever on the rest of the map? He was so strong and could not be matched in a split push by anyone. Why wouldn't you just put him there and say, okay, everybody else deal with that?
Because they didn't have any other threats on the map because support couldn't land a hook. If support doesn't land a hook, you're never going to be in a pick position for Maria's Dungeon where you have to worry about rotating here. And support missing hooks left and right meant that Maria's Dungeon could walk through this jungle without being scared, could rotate without being scared, and even the Nami could walk up, place wards, and just be happy without worrying about support.
You're not wrong. And that is a whole nother issue that I never thought about. So I guess, I'm
Game
not gonna
number
throw
two.
salt right now. I'm
Game
not gonna
number
throw
two,
salt right now.
maybe put
Yeah.
support on something that doesn't have any skill shots, huh?
Ooh, you said it, not me. But we will be back with game number 2 very shortly. So please do not go anywhere. We'll be back. Maria's Dungeon, Iron Chefs. We'll see if Maria Dungeon can finally get that elusive match win. They are 3-8, but have not been able to put 2 of those 3. Actually, they're 4-8 now, but have not been able to put those 4 together in the right arrangement to get a match point win. We will be back very shortly.
Nope, that's wrong.
All right, welcome back for game two. Iron Chefs versus Maria's Dungeon. We do have Maria's Dungeon now taking the blue side, Iron Chefs on the red. One of the things we did see on Tuesday night was that basically whoever was on red side was taking Lucian Nami on instinct. But we do immediately have the Tryndamere ban from Maria's Dungeon. I wonder why.
Yeah, turns out JS Method is a little bit scary. Just a little bit.
just to drop. But we do also have a Karthus ban from Iron Chefs. They said, "You're not doing that again. No, no, no. I didn't like it. Not one bit. Will not experience that." And I can understand why. At about 30 minutes, that Karthus basically said, "Every team fight, I'm gonna press R. Everybody's gonna lose 1,000 health. Are you cool with that?" Iron Chef said, "No." No, no, no. But we do have a Shin ban as well, the second Shin ban we've seen. Maria's Dungeon not going to let Badit play that Shin. We did see the Shin look absolutely insane. I believe it was 2 matches ago for Iron Chefs, where Badit was basically like, nobody dies, and I have infinity shields.
Yes, 2 matches ago, which was ironically next week in the schedule. The reschedules have made this a very, very weird league.
That is fair. That is fair. But we do have, again, a Nath's ban. Iron Chefs basically said, okay, beat us with something else. We're not seeing that again. Whereas Maria's Dungeon does ban out the Nocturne. Looks like it's going to be a Nocturne ban and a Victor pick. Wookie Monster going to get to show us the Victor one more time. They're going to take it away from JS Method. JS Method looking at Annie, possibly?
Annie would be an interesting choice here. Definitely an aggressive choice like the Tryndamere, get that flash ult out. However, that does leave JS Method vulnerable afterwards, so it'll be interesting to see whether the rest of this Iron Chefs team will be able to follow up and to help make sure that JS Method's engages and damage can turn into kills.
Yeah, but yep, that is an Annie lock-in and an Ezreal. It could be though, and I hate to say it like this because I feel bad. It could be an Annie support for support because someone here mentioned that maybe they should get support off of skill shots, and Annie's Q is a guaranteed hit.
This is true. Forcing support onto Annie duty just because of my opinions would be... I would feel bad. I would feel very bad for having done that. But
Hey, I saw Xpecial get to Worlds playing Annie support. Okay, it can be done. But we do have a Sivir, and it looks like maybe a Yuumi. Yes, a Yuumi coming out from Maria's Dungeon. They are going to play the we run really, really fast, really, really fast, really, really fast. You can't catch us bot lane. Ezreal is, while mobile, not as consistently mobile as a Sivir with a Yuumi that can pretty much run down anybody except maybe an Nadir, which was banned. But we are going to see a recon from Iron Chefs. They are basically saying it's fine. We'll just knock you up. So, with both bot lanes, and I assume both mid lanes, we're going to see some jungle and top lane bans, which we already did see a couple of them. So this is going to be very interesting to see exactly how pinched the pools get.
yeah, and I do feel bad for Fishing Frenzy here. He hasn't had a fun time in this league so far. He's been placed on tank duty most of these matches. He got his Nasus game. He got to be a carry. He got to make a difference. And now the Nasus is taken away. And now the rest of the team is drafting full damage. And he's going to be put back on tank duty.
Most likely the case. But we do see a Hecarim ban from Iron Chefs as well. I think they're also going to want to make sure that maybe In Defiance, is on tank duty. We do have the Scion ban, not wanting to see Badit on it one more time. Maybe Fishing Frenzy at least going to get a favorable matchup. But probably not. I imagine you pick jungler here round 4 and top lane around 5 to get that nice sweet counter pick for Badit, or at least a preferred matchup. But I don't know.
See, the thing for Badit here is that Fishing Frenzy's favorite tank has historically been the Ornn. So unless Badit is going to shock us all and pull out the Camille here, which we haven't seen from him, Fishing Frenzy should be pretty okay to take that Ornn into just about anything that Badit has in his pool.
That is fair. That is very fair. But we do see two more jungle bans. We get the Graves and the Shyvana. Graves banned by Maria's, Shyvana banned by the Chefs. So we're gonna see some maybe second or third line picks for preferred junglers here. It's gonna be a Jarvan for Chefs. Uh, Definitely looking like they're indexing into the everybody in this little 300 unit circle. All of them not moving.
Yeah, which is fine for the Chefs. The only issue I have is that Ezreal, well, being a great ADC for being slippy and having consistent damage, doesn't necessarily have as much burst as other ADCs. So in a comp like what the Chefs have, which is very much pick one spot, blow it to high hell, and then repeat 30 seconds later, the Ezreal doesn't quite fit here.
Yeah, that is true, and it's gonna have a little, at least a little bit of tankiness that has to be chewed through. Like you said, Fishing Frenzy back on the Ornn, and it's gonna be Maria's on the Vi. Oh, switching it up. Maybe the wrong placement after placing V in the select. It's gonna be the Volley Bear, and it's gonna be a Mordekaiser in the top lane for Badit, looking to maybe get some split push action, but also able to kind of stand in the middle of a 300 unit circle and just melt whoever's in there. So this is a very interesting comp from the Chefs. Looks like Maria's as well, kind of your comp, but better.
Yeah, I do tend to lean towards Maria's comp here because I think that Sivir does a better job of supporting what the rest of the map wants to do. The Ornn, the Volibear, and the Victor, very good zone control. With the Yuumi on top, it's even better the final chapter. Not quite as placed of a zone control, but that even makes it easier for Soul Lady to make sure that she gets the lockdown. The Sivir, with the Boomerang Blade, with the bouncing Boomerang, can churn out that damage. For the Chef's
Yes.
side, Mordekaiser, J4, Rakan, Annie all going to want to be on that one spot. And Cool Crab on Ezreal, he's just going to be sitting to the side. He'll be throwing out his Qs, tossing a W in there once in a while, but it's not going to be the same numbers as what Sivir's putting out. And in these team fights, that extra half second that Maria's is going to get because Sivir can do the damage faster, that could be the difference between winning the team fight or throwing the game.
Yes, absolutely. And to your point, but even more so, and we saw this, I think we also saw this Tuesday night. We've seen a lot of repeat picks. It turns out certain champions are just really strong at the same time. Who would have known? But we also saw that the Yuumi was basically able to allow people to survive. If they didn't die initially, they lived a long, long time, which I think is going to be a problem for Chefs.
Yeah, and what we have seen recently, and this has been fairly common, but we have seen the AP Yuumi build. So this is a Yuumi that can still do damage. This is a Yuumi that's going to hurt with the Prowling Projectiles with the final chapter, but with all of that AP is still able to churn out the heals. Not
Yeah,
quite as weak as the Moonstone Renewer Yuumi that has been common for so long.
the heals were very strong, and like you said, the prowling projectiles were probably stronger. The one, I think the one we saw last night also had some dark seal stacks to go on top of it. Absolutely, positively looked like the worst thing I've ever wanted to not see. Just because it made it to where the Sivir could not be killed, and the Sivir was so fast and then was full health and back in the fight. And I don't know that Chefs have anything to handle that. And on top of which, Method is going to be on the Annie, not going to be a sneak AP Rakan, I don't believe. Does Annie have that kind of high end damage like a Victor, like a Trendamere, where you can say, I just need to be away from the Annie at all times? At all times.
Yeah, it's a very different playstyle than the other champions that JS Method has shown in BTL. But JS Method runs an academy for mid laners who want to be better. To be better, you need to be able to play different styles of champions in different games. So JS Method should be able to step up here, change his point of view, change how he plays this champ, and continue to be the carry that this Iron Chefs team needs. If he doesn't
That
step
is
up,
true.
then it's going to have to be Cool Crab. Cool Crab has been a consistent ADC all across the amateur scene, so he should be able to step up here. We just haven't seen it very consistently in BTL.
That is also true. And then that brings us to the other question. Expo has shown up consistently every time we've seen Expo.
Absolutely.
Has Cool Crab shown us anything this split to make us believe that is a bot lane that is going to be Iron Chef's favored?
Not that it's going to be Iron Chef's favored, necessarily. Cool Crab has had a couple of weeks where he's put up really good stat lines. I'd have to go back and check to see if the Ezreal was one of those champs that he piloted well. But he's had some games where he's gone 12-3, 14-4, 15-2. So he has the numbers, they're just not every game. And given what I saw in game 1, I find myself tending to wonder if he's just not on the same page as support here all the time, and if that's causing some of these issues with him not always firing.
That may be the case, and we will find out very shortly. We do have Maria's Dungeon, Iron Chefs, Game 2, whole new lineups as far as champions go, same lineups as far as players. Don't go anywhere. We may be in for a sweep, or we may be in for a game 3, and you don't want to find out how we got there from looking at the screenshots later. So watch. All right, and we are back. Maria's Dungeon versus Iron Chefs. Iron Chefs loading in, looking to spread out. Doesn't look like there's going to be the same 5-man stacks that we saw last game. That's a lie. Iron Chefs came apart to come together, and it looks like they're going to go into the top side jungle as 5. The Yumi making Indefiance a little bit faster. We do see the Prowling Projectile hit Calabina. Calabina is going to walk away, though. Get a little bit of that airy plus scorch damage, but does manage to put the lance down. Expo takes a little damage as well. Nothing too major and nothing too different going on with the itemization. We do have Cool Crab with the tier. We do have the Targons there. Or excuse me, the Relic Shield. I always call things old names because Riot likes to change things for no good reason. For support, support is on the Rakan with Ignite, and it's only teleport for Cool Crab, so they are short effectively 1-2 combat spells because Seal Lady does not have to take flash with that Yumi. So those early game fights may be even rougher than previous. We do have a cull coming out for Expo on the Sivir. It's of course going to be the first strike Victor that we saw previously from Wookiee Monster, and just about every other Victor player we've seen going to be the lethal, not the lethal tempo, excuse me, yeah, lethal tempo for Expo, but it's going to be, I can't think of the name, and I apologize.
Press the
Or
attack.
In Defiance, press the attack. I think that tripped me up last time too. But immediately we see Badit and Fishing Frenzy getting into a fight. Badit getting the passive proc and being able to push that wave very fast. Support going in, only hitting Seal Lady. Seal Lady's not that worried about that their entrance from support. Fishing Frenzy under tower on tank duty, like you said. Not as easy to clear that wave, or not as rewarding as when you're on Nasus.
No, but Fishing Frenzy is used to playing this Ornn. He's got about 8 games out of the 12 that Maria's has played so far. So used to playing it, knows how to play it. Some expected aggression here from JS Method. We do see him taking the Ignite as opposed to the Teleport. Means that he'll be looking for early fights against Wookiee Monster, who does have the TP. But
Yeah, and
Wookiee Monster has the range advantage here, so it'll be difficult for JS Method to get in and get the advantages he wants.
yeah, and to your point from the Champs Select, we did see that JS Method was still able to get a stun a second ago, still being able to play with the range effectively well, not getting too poked out. So we will see how that continues to play out. But yeah, the level 2 came out for the bot lane there, and Expo and Seal Lady immediately got enough poke that support had to use the entrance as an exit. And there you go. You see JS Method able to use the shield to get the speed up and then get the stun, get a little bit of damage, but not proccing the electrocute. So not an ideal combo, I don't think, for anybody. There we go. A very nice knockup from Fishing Frenzy on the Badit. Badit gonna have to walk away. Is very low. Can get his shield, but ooh, In Defiance is caught between Calabina and JS Method. Is gonna get knocked up. There's gonna be stun as well. There's gonna be an Ignite. In Defiance trying to get away. May get away. We do see Gravity Field, but it's gonna be the Ignite going on, and JS Method does get the kill, does get the double buff as well. And there we go. Support goes in after the spell shield has been used. Calabina now trying to get the final kill on the Wookiee Monster. JS Method going to get the kill as well. Going to go down though. Gets 2 kills, does go down, loses the double buffs, but still mostly worth.
Mostly
on
worth.
The side.
That's a 4-minute lost chapter, Rodney. That is incredibly worth for this Annie.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Especially because as well, Calabina gets to go right back to farming jungle, does get to make up a little bit of the difference lost. And we see this bot lane fight seems to be like they were fighting the whole time that fight was going on in the mid lane.
Yeah, Expo running very low on mana here. Has to be a little bit careful, but it looks like he's going to push this wave in and back out. Already about a third of the way through this coal, so that'll be a nice gold infusion in about 10 minutes here.
Yes, very nice. Will be that extra 350 plus the extra 100 from hitting all the minions. Absolutely worth it. But we do see the death grabs coming in from Badit. Badit does get the passive now, is doing a little bit of burn, is gonna, oh, just barely doesn't get the Conqueror proc for the heals, but that's going to be fine. That's going to be also the Unstoppable used by Fishing Frenzy to run away. Oh no, support's caught out, is able to hop away. thought they backed. They did not. They were waiting, trying to set him up, and it's gonna have a very nice back there for Mad. They're able to this time. Dang, I can't find the right words. I apologize. Uncoordinate. What's the word I'm looking? Desync. There we go. Desync the backs that are going to be coming out from the bot lane of Iron Chefs, which may lead to a new problem coming up soon. But the Sivir's going to stick around, does not have the items to match the Ezreal. So even though it's going to be able to push it in, Ezreal does have significantly more fighting power right now.
Yeah, and this strikes me as incredibly over-aggressive from Expo. Expo had about 4 different chances to back there that would have been great timing. Missed the cannon as well. Just really feels bad all around for Expo. But if Expo had taken advantage of any of those backs, could have gotten back, could have changed his items over without having any issues, and could have taken that fight on an even field.
JS Method is a lot. And it was just able to force Wookiee Monster at least off the wave. But we see more fighting going on top lane as well. Batted just fighting Fishing Frenzy in the wave, getting the Conqueror proc now, does have the ult, is going to use it. So now in the Death Realm is Fishing Frenzy, trying to use the ultimate, does use the Call of the Forge God. I don't know who wins this. Batted is looking like going to go down. Finna have to flash away. So 2 ults used, 1 flash used. I think advantage Fishing Frenzy there.
Yeah, definitely. And Fishing Frenzy has slowly created a good lead for himself, up 15 CS in this top lane. It's not the most fun playing Ornn, but if you can stay safe, if you can make the Mordekaiser unable to get the short, kind of fast QE trades that he wants to slowly burn down your health bar, you can create advantages like this, and you can really make the Mordekaiser suffer. Actually, he's going to go in here, gets the charge off. A couple more auto attacks will do it. Fishing Frenzy down under 100 health, but it doesn't look like Fishing Frenzy has quite the range.
And while that's going on, there's a fight going on bot lane. Expo and CO Lady able to come on ahead, take about half of the health off of support. Cool Crab able to do just fine, but somebody's taking that damage, and they don't care who at this point. Not looking good. To your point about the Ornn as well, the other great thing about the Ornn is if you can stay in the game and just not wind up falling super behind in levels, you add so much to your team with those items that each extra item has a significant... Oh, there we go. Support's going to go in. There's going to be this flash out of Expo. Expo able to stay alive. They are not visible. They don't know Calabina is there. Calabina is going to go in. That's going to be the heal coming out from Expo. Going to be even more damage. And now Indefiance is there to back them up. So it's not going to be a follow-up kill. Just basically 2 summoners out for Expo. Nothing else as the bot lane... Oh, JS Method circled down as well. They are looking to apply pressure to the bot lane of Mad, but not going to do much else. Maria's Dungeon survives an early scare early.
Yes, that would tend to be when an early scare would happen.
I mean, at least it's not late. An early scare that happens late seems like they would know about it.
True. Jokes aside, JS Method has also created a bit of a lead in this mid lane. Good roam there, taking the time to push this wave in and free himself to move down towards the bot lane. Didn't get anything off it at this time, but forced Indefiance to respond, forced Expo off the wave, and didn't give Wookiee Monster enough space to do much of anything. Still down nearly 30 CS in this mid lane is the victor.
Yes, is down a lot of CS, is going to have a little bit of a delay getting to the Hex Core items. But I believe this... Oh my goodness, a flash, stun, ult, ignite from JS Method, but I don't think it's going to be enough. That was a very nice and well done shield from Wookiee Monster. But we do have, again, the battle of the ults going on in the top lane, and Fishing Frenzy not afraid. Bad it go down. That feels bad. You think you are... Death Realm joke, Bane, insert transition. Anyway, we have a fight going on in the jungle as Indefiance is trying to get away from support, and Calabina is able to do so. Did wind up having to use the ult, not use the ult, excuse me, but did wind up having to use the flash to get away from Calabina and support Cool Crab, now stuck under the tower, getting hit by Expo. Expo actually takes a unexpected tower shot because of the ricochet, takes 2 of them, able to basically let Cool Crab off the hook a little bit.
Yeah, some poor choices there, both from Expo and Indefiance. Indefiance had the ultimate available, which would have left him unstoppable, could have used that to get over the wall and save himself without having to use the flash. Much lower cooldown, much better way to escape there. In addition, Expo taking a couple of turret shots didn't need to do that. If he had stayed down there, not taken the turret shots, been able to just continue to slowly push in that wave, would have chunked out Cool Crab just the same, would have gotten some turret plates, and wouldn't have had to back off.
So I
Luckily,
actually have a question about that interaction because I'm not sure if knocked up and or charm. Well, I guess the charm wasn't available. If knocked up, does Stormbringer still get Volley Bear out of there?
it is unstoppable from the press of the button.
Okay,
So, yes, it will. It's the same as an Orn W, the same as a Nocturne ult. You do not stop until you get to the end of your travel.
that is good to know. But we see Indefiance and Calabina fighting again. Calabina, first of all, fighting him over the chickens, and now fighting him in the jungle. And that's going to be Wookiee Monster going down. JS Method getting the kill with a little bit of help from support. Calabina still fighting in Defiance and is going to go down. In Defiance managing to get the kill despite the Conqueror finally going off for Calabina and is able to walk away. So basically, it's a 1-for-1 with Wookiee Monster going down, but Calabina going down on the other side. Still, you like that advantage, I imagine, if you are Iron Chefs, because JS Method is able to get all of that gold, plus get another tower plate.
Yeah, absolutely. And JS Method has put Wookiee Monster in such a hole here. At 12 minutes, still doesn't even
Ooh.
have the first Hex Core upgrade. This is miserable for the Victor. You want to be able to start pumping out damage, but until you have that Death Ray, there's really nothing you can do. You can't really clear waves, you can't really poke, you can't be a threat. And speaking of
Oh
threats,
no, there's a
Expo is going to be very dead here.
Expo. Yeah, Expo actually did use the spell shield very expertly under the tower, making sure that JS Method wasn't going to get the stun and get the insta kill. But it is such a long cooldown. JS Method was literally able to cycle through to get the stun ready again, and then just waited until the Rakan was on the screen. Rakan hit with the knockup and the stun plus the kill plus the damage. And you know, maybe we were a little bit wrong. Maybe JS Method on Annie is the new carry meta.
Yeah, you know, if everyone's going to ban your Victor, you got to have something else in the back pocket. Seems
Ooh,
like the Annie's going well so far. However, JS
that
Method
top
is
lane.
only one player. This is a team game. And
That
unfortunately,
top lane.
we
That
did
top
see
lane.
last game where JS Method got a huge advantage on the Tryndamere, was for a long time pretty much untouchable. But one man does not a winning team make.
That is very
Speaking
true.
of in
And we're
trouble, though, JS Method
does
finding himself in the hands of In Defiance will take down Wookiee Monster in trade, but that is a 750 gold bonus in the pockets of the bear.
yes, did manage to get away from that gravity field, but wound up going down to just the overall onslaught of CC that Indefiance is able to bring, but does manage to trade back a kill. So even with all of that, it is still not Wookiee Monster being able to get anything for free. Just gets assist gold, whereas kill gold go over to JS Method, and they are trying to stop this Rift Herald from going off. Yep, there you go. And Defiance is going to go unstoppable, is going to hop out, but is going to wind up going down anyway. It's going to be a shutdown going on for Calabina. So Calabina getting some of that gold back, and the Rift Herald not able to get any plates or hit anything. Well done by the follow-up squad on the side of Iron Chefs.
I do have to correct you there. The Rift Herald did charge, got 2 plates, and all
Oh,
of
it
that gold went
did.
into the pockets of In Defiance there.
Ah, my bad. I did not see it. I saw it where it was, and then I saw it disappear, and I thought it died. Not it charged and died. That is a very good call, because then that makes it totally worth it for Indefiance in a
Eh,
mathematical sense.
I don't know that
Uh,
totally worth it is true. Calabina
you
doing a
trade. Oh,
great
that
job out farming at the moment.
you
And
trade 320 for three. I guess you trade 320 for 450. Not worth it. You are correct. I will not do math ever again if I can help it.
hey, it's that
But
American high school education, you know?
exactly. And like you said, that is a significant farm lead for Calabina. Also has a level lead and a little bit of an item lead, but not significant enough. Actually, will when he backs, but still has not got that nice back with the fat gold yet. But you've seen Maria's Dungeon trying to get Wookiee Monster into this side lane to farm safely. And every time they do, a fight breaks out. But it looks like this will not be when the fight breaks out. The fight's going to break out mid, maybe. We have 4 members. Now only 3 as Calamina finally gets the back off. Is going to come back now with the steel-plated boots and a Bomby Cinder. So is going to be a little bit tanky, but a little bit damagey. Does have the Umbral Glaive to clear out some of the vision as well, but it looks like the Rift Herald is going to be started. It's going to be in Defiance with some help from Seal Lady. Gonna have a lot of heals and shields to go around. Expo, very nice spill shield there, making sure that Cool Crab doesn't get it, but it doesn't matter. JS Method said, you have fallen into my trap. I see that you have used your spell shield. I have mini spells, and that is all it takes. That's going to be Expo off the map. The Rift Herald is going to go down. In Defiance taking the second Rift Herald, but I think it's going to be, no, Fighting Frenzy comes through with a very nice cover. Gonna be the Call of the Forge God and knock up Cool Crab. That's going to be the final chapter, and they're going to be able to take down support, but I don't know if that's going to be, In Defiance decides not to, as Calabina is able to take the dragon in the meantime. That's why that was an uneven fight, and there you go. A trade of objectives, a trade of kills, and I don't even know. I don't know anymore. I don't know who is coming out ahead in these trades anymore. This is kind of ridiculous. It's always a 1-for-1 plus something.
Yeah, unfortunate for the side of Maria's that JS Method is continuing to get these kills, because all that means is, as we saw with the Tryndamere game, continuing to accelerate and accelerate and accelerate. And with the Annie, yes, you do have that 5-minute timer on the flash, but that's not the only option. So JS Method will continue to be able to get those kills, continue to be able to pressure. And unlike the Tryndamere that wants to be out on a side lane, wants to be separated from the team, JS Method on the Annie will be more than happy to sit with the team and be a part of those team fights. That might be a little bit easier for this Iron Chefs team to execute around for the members not named JS Method. Might make it go a little bit more smoothly here, and could lead the Iron Chefs to a path to Game 3.
Yes, absolutely could. And on top of which, with the way this game is kind of played out, there's no more objectives until Annie's flash is back up. So Annie will be ready, but then we do see the fight. Calabina is going to be able to jump onto Expo, gonna use the Cataclysm, but is going to not get anything as Expo is able to flash out, and it's going to be actually a full rout now as Maria's Dungeon is able to turn it around, take down Calabina, take down support, and now they are looking to get another charge of this Rift Herald onto the tier 2 tower. Very well played fight. Expo able to flash out, then ult. Didn't even have to use the heal, never in any real danger aside from being locked down. It looked like JS Method never was actually in that fight, and that's where all the damage is.
Yeah, the gold distribution here on the side of Iron Chefs is incredibly uneven. Speaking of uneven, though, we got a 2-man fight here in the top lane. JS Method is going to fall, but Wookiee Monster, once again,
oh my god,
he can't win. Just pure suffering for Wookiee Monster.
At least he got the kill this time. If you die, but you get the kill. Oh, very nice. Using the special for Expo. Said, I am not going to the Death Realm, and now trying to hunt down Babbitt. Not going to be able to get the kill. Babbitt is going to flash away, but they are going to be able to take the tower. There's going to be the stun by In Defiance on the Cool Crab. We do see support nearby. Support is going to be able to get the knockup. Fishing Frenzy going to go in with the charge. Going to get the hit, and it looks like they're going to try to dodge Cool Crab. Cool Crab is going to go down, but In Defiance is going to be fine. Gonna be fine. Just gonna be absolutely fine. Walks out, gets a shield, leaves. Fishing Frenzy is able to take the tank the tower for him. What a good friend. And everybody's gonna leave perfectly healthy in that mid lane dive.
Yeah, and we're starting to see what happened last game. JS Method was the point of power for Maria's. Once again, the point of power. 7 out of the 8 kills here. All the gold is on JS Method. When JS Method isn't in the fight, when JS Method isn't the one to start these fights, to end these fights, to be the central point of these fights, there's nothing that the rest of Iron Chefs can do. So JS Method has to be very careful here, either in shot calling or just in his own personal positioning, to make sure that his team is working around him, because he is the strong. The strong.
That is very, very true. And I think part of the issue is actually that JS Method kind of keeps getting caught out. taking these kind of 1v1 and a 1v2 is super cool for your montage, but not super cool for the rest of your team when you are it. You are the damage.
Yeah, speaking of sticking together with the team, though, we're starting to see a change of pace here from Iron Chef's 4 men working together, roaming through the jungle, trying to cut off Expo and Soul Lady, but the pop of the On the Hunt gives just enough movement speed that they can get out from under that tier 1 turret. Good
Yeah, and
recognition by Expo there to know that he needed to run as fast as humanly possible.
so there is a ward in the mid lane that saw them start running up, which I think is what gave them the first alert that, hey, you might be in some danger. Everybody started going up and disappeared off the map. But now we do have this dragon coming up in about 30 seconds. We have the flash on JS Method just now coming back up. All the ults available for everybody except Expo. We don't have a flash or a heal on Expo, so a Cataclysm this time means Expo stays there. But we do have the fight over the Scuttlecraft. It's going to be Fishing Frenzy, going to immediately go into Babbitt. Babbitt is going to be stuck in the gravity well, but is going to be able to get away. JS Method looking to make a play, but is going to have to go out. Does not want to get hit by the Call of Forge God. It's going to be Calabina using the Cataclysm, but not able to get anywhere. And it's going to be JS Method going down, flashes in the backside. And it's going to go down. It's going to be killed back. It's going to go on Calabina as well, and that's going to be In Defiance cleaning up the rest of it, able to take out the Mordekaiser. And there you go. Support is down. Top lane is down. Jungler's down. Mid laner's down. And Cool Crab is having to walk back to lane. Back to base, excuse me, through the lane, taking the long way around, so it's not even going to be able to hit the tower or protect the tower, which is being hit now by the Sivir. And that's going to be the second dragon for Maria's dungeon, as Sivir is just walking down mid lane as well, taking about half the health off of that inhibitor tower.
You know, Rodney, all of that was a very nice fight for Maria's. Fishing Frenzy, gorgeous ultimate, In Defiance, great ultimate. Wookiee Monster did what he needed to do, staying on the backside of that fight. However, exactly one thing mattered in that fight. Nothing mattered except for the fact that JS Method flashed forward and missed his ult. That is the only thing that mattered in that fight. Nothing else made any difference there.
I think, and this is just a hunch, is that between the many different ways that slows were available, something slowed JS Method after the flash. So like in your mind, you're like, I need to flash, be here, press R. But by the time they got to press R range, they were not in range from, like, you know, in your mind where you're calculating it. But it's going to be Expo walking away, going to be the final chapter, trying to keep Expo alive, but he's going to go down. That's going to be a kill and a shutdown for Cool Crab. JS Method is going to go down, though. His Fishing Frenzy is very strong. Wookiee getting the cleanup, and it's now a total rout. Maria's dungeon turnaround, and it's going to be Baddick going down for Wookiee Monster as well. The gravity well able to hold Calabina in place, and Wookiee Monster not going to be able to finish off Calabina, but it doesn't really matter because Fishing Frenzy's there, just kind of playing with them. Headbutting the wall, using the Bellows Breath, but Calabina's going to be able to jump over the wall now. It's going to stop. No, fell for the trap. The number one way to trap a jungler, put a pink ward. They have to clear it. They can't help it. And that's going to be the Baron for Maria's dungeon, up 7 kills and 6,000 gold. What now?
Well, that is the million-dollar question, isn't it? JS Method had a great lead, was 7-3-0, and has died twice now without getting another kill. This is not what you need from the side of Iron Chefs, and it's a little bit of what I'm seeing, at least, is a little bit of tunneling. In that first fight, JS Method really wanted to get that big flash ult, the montage play. Flashed was a little bit too late on firing that ult, meant that it hit nobody, and that blew the fight wide open. That time there, it was Calabina who went very, very deep, forced his team to react with him to try and get Expo. And yes, he did get Expo, but Fishing Frenzy there on the backside with the enormous Call of the Forge God onto the 3 most important members, JS Method, Cool Crab, and Support, who was there to peel for those 2 strong members, meant that that fight was blown wide open and bought enough time for Wookiee Monster, who now has a couple of items, has the stacks of the Hex Core, is actually relevant to get to that fight and start churning out the damage as well. Iron Chefs needs to remember this game isn't over. They need to step back and breathe and make conscious, intelligent decisions rather than just going for the big number plays.
Yes, 100% agree. And we will find out very shortly, because it looks like they were trying to make a play on a fishing frenzy and decided not to when they saw that the push was going down mid lane. We do see JS Method now coming through to answer, trying to hold this mid lane, trying to not die in the meantime. Those ricochets now with that 2.5 item Sivir hurt a lot. Sivir actually hasn't sold the cull, just hanging out with it as well. We also see the Ornn items coming through. We do have the Eye of Luden as well as the Forge Fire Crest on the mid laner and top laner respectively for Maria's Dungeon. So it's going to be a problem that they're only going to get stronger as the next one, I imagine, is going to go on to Expo and then on to Indefiance. No one's going to get easier to kill and no one's going to start doing less damage. And they are just chipping down this mid lane tower in the meantime with the Baron buff, plus the poke from the Sivir.
Fishing Frenzy may be in a little bit of trouble here. JS Method doesn't get the stun off though. The Unstoppable keeps Fishing Frenzy safe. Here comes the Call of the Forge God to try and buy a little bit of extra time. Will get the knock up onto JS Method. Actually might just be going for the damage here, but with all 5 members, Fishing Frenzy is dead.
Oh, there's going to be a teleport coming through as well. There's going to be Wookiee Monster coming through. That's going to be the quickness. They're trying to get on the Wookiee Monster. There's going to be the Grand Entrance and the Cataclysm. It's going to be the Gravity Well, keeping him alive. And he's going to be able to turn it around and take down Calabina with that Death Laser, actually adding some death to the name. And now there's going to be the re-engage in Defiance going on very fast. Going to be able to use the last chapter to get batted. It's going to be Expo actually getting the kill. The Prowling Projectile is going to slow Cool Crab as well. We do see On the Hunt use the... Yeah, you just have to run away, and they can run really fast. You better be happy you have a tower, because there is nothing you can do now. What in the world? It took so long to kill Fishing Frenzy.
Yeah, the power of a 3-item Ornn, over 4,000 health at the moment. For those of you raiding from low-budget LCS, hello, welcome, thanks for joining us here on a special Thursday night episode of Black Twitch League. Maria's Dungeon currently 0-4 in Black Twitch League play, facing off against Iron Chefs, who is in the middle of the pack squarely at 2-3.
Calabina.
Maria's Dungeon did take the first game. JS Method on the mid lane Tryndamere came out swinging hard, got out to a huge lead, but Maria's Dungeon able to make small gains across the map, was able to claw it back, and that's what we're seeing again in this second game here. JS Method got out to a huge lead on the Annie early, was up as far as 7-3, has been struggling now to turn that early advantage into team fight wins here, and Maria's Dungeon has started to claw back and is now at an 8,000 gold lead, an 8-kill advantage, starting to put pressure all across the map. And with eyes on every player here from the side of Maria's, nobody is looking bad. So it's going to be pretty hard for this Iron Chefs team to find the answer.
Fight going on. They are going to be able to try to get in Defiance. Defiance is not going to go down. There's going to be Calabina stuck in his own ultimate. And now we see Fishing Frenzy going through. After that call, the Forge God didn't really do any damage. Support able to take the Grand Entrance, trying to use the Battle Dance to get out, but going to go down. Going to literally get clapped. And Cool Crab maybe next. Trying to get away. Oh, a very nice flash Q. Going to be able to at least get the shutdown gold on the Wookiee Monster. Cool Crab's going to get away. Going to teleport back into the base. So there is JS Method now. Oh, nice flash from Expo. And that last chapter. Oh my god. The Ricochet plus the Prowling Projectile took 3/4 out of JS Method's health. Trying to get back into this fight is not going to be able to. There's just so much poke to close that distance. Annie does not have enough space to go. And Batted is going to go down, just constantly getting hit with Expo's Ricochet plus that Boomerang Blade. We see Calabina going in again, trying to get onto Expo. It's going to go down, going to get killed by Expo with some nice peel by Indefiance, just staying between the rest of the team and the ADC. And you see again the amount that Expo has gone down to about 30 and then came back and gone down to about 30% and came back. Just the heals off of this Yuumi. It is not the full AP Yuumi, but still strong enough. And JS Method may be about to go down. That Call of Forge God's going to get it. Puts the steal. Grand Entrance can't do anything. And that's going to be support going as well. Expo now on a rampage, looking to circle around and take out Cool Crab. It's going to get a nice heal again, but it's going to be a double kill for Seoul Lady. Gonna wind up not saving the support, but stealing the kill. Batted going to ult Fishing Frenzy under the tower, trying to... Does the tower also hit minions when you're in the Death Realm? Not sure, but it doesn't matter. Fishing Frenzy's still kind of staying alive. And Defiance now going to stay there and going to get the kills. And Wookie Monster shows up to clean up everything and help everybody out, even if the double kill does go over to Defiance. And that is going to be Maria's dungeon. Oh my god.
What a way to get your first Black Twitch League match win, huh?
You know, if Don't Worry About It, We Scale was a match, it was this one. Both games at about 10-15 minutes. Maria's looked so overmatched, and then it was just like, hang on, just wait a second, just give me a minute, I'm getting warmed up, and that was it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just had to survive the early game JS method. And JS method was scary. Absolutely terrifying, able to flash and ult freely across the map. But it doesn't matter when there's only one point of power. And as we look at the final stat sheet here, JS Method 8 and 6. The next highest kill score was Cool Crab at 4 and 3. Nobody else on the team had more than one kill. Meanwhile, for the side of Maria's, 5 and 1, 8 and 3, 6 and 5, 6 and 4. All of these members had gold. All of these members were dangerous, and that spreading out meant that they were more able to weather the storm that JS Method could create.
I think the underrated point here was Fishing Frenzy. Fishing Frenzy was so beefy that by the time we got to these like really important mid game fights for the third dragon, for the barons, JS Method had your options are waste all your damage into Ornn or die. And the attempted to flash past Ornn didn't work. And every other time was literally never got on the other side of Ornn to the damage. It was only Calabina being able to get at backside access, which I think was one of the biggest testaments I think I've seen to a tank player. Literally, when they say a front line, that man was an offensive line. Just, you're not hitting my quarterback today.
Yeah, absolutely. Did a great job in game two and in game one as well on the Nasus. Didn't have a great time early, but was able to scale, was able to buy the time that or his team was able to buy the time that he needed to get those stacks and become problematic. Speaking of Fishing Frenzy, we are going to get him here for an interview. The MVP of the week 4 match for Maria's here, Fishing Frenzy. Congratulations on your first BTL win.
Hello, thanks.
Yeah. Uh, you played absolutely amazing. And we were talking about it. I'm gonna work in reverse here. We were talking about game two when we started, and we were kind of wondering what you were picking. It was like, oh, well, he's gonna default to the Ornn. When you default to the Ornn, and I hate to say default like it's a bad thing because obviously you played out of your mind on this Ornn. Just literally, how did I think you died because they brought 5 members to fight you in the bot lane, right? That was the
Yeah,
only time you died.
right.
Why? Why do they keep giving it to you?
Well, I do get it banned away a lot, but I think they wanted to prioritize the nest. And Maria likes putting me on tanks, so we just have me rotating.
That is fair. That is fair. And they did ban the Ornn game one. To your point, so there you go. You're drawing out bans. That's always a badge of honor.
Yeah, but I really gotta give it to the team, I think, because a lot of the time, like as a tank, you're just there to soak mostly, so like you're sort of relying on your teammates
No
and
offense to our Mormon friends.
yeah, so I really trust a lot of our other players, and that's sort of why I feel like comfortable doing that.
Well, speaking of having to rely on your other teammates, how did you enjoy game one? Getting to finally get off tank duty and strut your stuff as the carry for a change.
Yeah, I've been begging for Nasus for a while, and I think it took a lot of convincing for Maria to let me do it. And I told her like Nasus is literally S tier, like he's a dog and you just run people down and they can't run because they're slow. So, but I finally got it and I was pretty happy about that. And shout out to Maria for letting me do it.
Yeah, definitely had that dog in him.
Were y'all at all worried? Both of those games, JS Method got out to a huge lead early. Was there any concern that you wouldn't be able to pull that back, or did y'all remain calm and realize that you still had win conditions?
I think overall we were pretty fine. Like I know game one, it seemed like he was really popping off on Tryndamere, but we just said like it's fine, we scale and we have the Nasus and Tryndamere against Nasus is pretty tilting because like as an on hit, I've been in that position, like you get withered and you're not a champ.
That is very much how it feels like to get hit with that wither. That said, the opposite kind of getting hit with the wither, the unstoppable. So it seemed like when you would set up for your team fights in the game two when you were on the Ornn, I know I'm very Ornn centric tonight. But you were forward, being a front line, doing a great job, but you were able to basically either somewhere between dodge and unstoppable all of the CC and still get your ults off. Is that just god tier timing, a little bit of luck, or do you have a cheat code you want to share with us?
I think it's definitely like um a lot of practice and a lot of missing. So you just like kind of get used to not really putting yourself in like a CC position when you blow the horn, and you just kind of wait for the follow, and then you can, that way you sort of. But I do whiff a lot, so.
One last question before we let you go. This is your first win in BTL. You've got 2 weeks left. You think you can win some more?
Yeah, the way we're kind of going into it is if you place last in the gauntlet, you get to play more league, and we're all just here to have a good time and play some league. So, you know, we've got our heads up. We've definitely got our hopes there, and don't count us out yet.
Anything else you'd like to say before we let you go for the evening?
No, just thanks for casting, and thanks to my teammates for having a great game.
Well,
Alrighty.
I imagine they're also thanking you. Like we said, you did a great job game one, staying true to the old just let me get to 30 minutes and then I'm going to press Q at people. And in game two, doing a great job frontlining. But I will let Aulz take us out tonight.
Yeah, that's going to be the end of it here for us at BTL on this special Thursday night edition. We do not have any more rescheduled games over the next couple of days, so our next game will be regular time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard on Saturday. If you like what you see here at Black Twitch League or want to continue to support these players, go ahead and hit that follow button so you can be notified every time we go live with more BTL gameplay. However, for this evening, I have been Aulz for myself, for Rodney, for everyone here at Black Twitch League. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for supporting these players, and have a great, great night. We'll see you guys next time.
I got you and your vibes in my mind, I can't get them out, no matter how hard I try. I need you